Gamers.
Gamers, it's been Agatha. It's been Agatha all along.
It has been Agatha Gamer all along.
Normally what happens while we are what is it? While normally on a Friday, gaming stuff will come out. However, this is different because Wandavision has just ended, and I thought it would be interesting to just do another discussion since a couple of weeks ago I uploaded a reaction, so this will take place of that, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're doing
For
two
us.
of these. Plus, Kyle is behind on editing. So fun.
Uh, so what better way to
Yeah.
make good on that than a discussion about a show we were both interested in?
Yeah, dude. The WandaVision.
The Wanda. Can I just say, uh, thought that show had the lamest name ever, and I still think it's a little oaf, but it worked out, made sense.
I get why. I definitely get why. And, like, episode 8 is just, like, it kind of, like, really explains, like, it really means something, I think. Because, like,
Well, no, I mean,
television, WandaVision.
well, yeah, like it to me, it's meant something since episode one. I was just saying when like it was like coming out and it was like, oh, the WandaVision show. I'm like, damn, that sounds like a placeholder name, but I
Octopath
like it.
Traveler.
Yeah, it was the Octopath Traveler TV.
It
It's
was
just
the Octopath
like
Traveler of TV.
it's a show about Wanda and Vision. Let's call it WandaVision. But like you said, it's clever because it's like television, but it's WandaVision.
It's clean.
So, how do you want to do this? What should we talk about first?
Uh, not like. I think I wanna talk about maybe like each episode, or at least the first three. I think we could really talk about the first three together.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we could talk about all the episodes together.
Okay. So,
So, I mean, the first, the
what do you want to
I
talk
really
about
like.
first?
I mean, we can do that. It's however you want to do it, man. I don't mind.
So I was gonna talk about how I was just starting in chronological here. For me, I really don't think the show picked up until the end of three. Like, I liked it, but like it really got good once like she sends Monica out.
Yeah, I definitely think like after episode three, that's like a shift where like, because episode four is basically them pulling back the curtain, and they're like, now you know what's going on. Generally, you don't know everything, but you get what's happening. And-
Yeah.
But I liked the first three episodes a lot. Like to me, I think that it definitely couldn't have gone that way forever. We needed it to like pick up pace, and I definitely agree with you. I think episode three is like where it really like it starts kicking in. But like I also like the first few episodes because it's like a really suspenseful like thriller mystery. Like you have no idea what's going on, and it's clear that Wanda knows what's going on, and that's what makes it interesting. Is that you are our main character knows something we don't, and
The first episode, I don't think so, but the second episode at the end, when we have the beekeeper,
yeah.
you definitely can tell she knows something.
Yeah, well, like, yeah, no, definitely. You definitely don't get the inkling that she's in control until episode two. But like, for even in the first episode, I love it how it does not let on that anything is wrong right until the end.
Yeah.
And same with the second episode. Everything is peachy keen, and then the ending hits, and it hits you like a fucking bus, and you're like, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, for me, I'm trying to, yeah, so definitely really like the first three episodes.
Me too. I think it was like a good like this is what's going to get you like into it.
Yeah,
Um and like you definitely like start to feel for them like sitcom characters.
Yeah.
and then it starts to like you see the cracks, and I think
Mm.
that's really good. And I think like what it does is give us a really good introduction to to who is gonna be like our main cast or like our main four, which are Wanda,
Yeah.
Vision, um, Agnes, who we'll talk about who
Yeah.
that is afterwards, and Geraldine, who is was Monica.
Yeah. But
Um,
yeah, I definitely
even though
really
she
like.
kind of got cucked at the end, but I'm sure that she'll have her moment one day.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was saying like definitely think the episodes are pretty good at like setting up who was going to be our principal cast, even though like Agatha wasn't really, or sorry, Agnes and Geraldine weren't really doing anything right up until it's like, oh, they're actually this person.
Yeah,
But I think it's done well because that's the whole point. They're supposed to seem like NPCs in a sitcom,
yeah,
and as an audience member, you're supposed to be like, something's wrong. I can tell.
yeah, pretty much. And
So
and then after that, we got episode 4, which was a recap of everything. Like, you see that like things are you see like what's been going on, like who was the one that was watching
was
from the
watching the
TV, and it was
TV.
Darcy from the Thor movies. Which, by the way,
Yeah,
thank God they took parts of the Thor movies, that the first two that were good, and just placed them elsewhere
yeah.
and killed the rest. Although they didn't kill Sif yet. One day she will die. No, actually that's a lie. Her and Valkyrie will probably end up together, and I guarantee you Sif will be a good character in Thor Love and
Probably.
Thunder. Instead of, oh, I was Thor's bitch and now I'm not, she'll probably be like, yeah, fuck Thor. Like, I think Thor, I think I think what they're going to do with Thor 4, I guess tangent, wouldn't be us if it wasn't.
That's true.
I think what they're probably gonna do is pretty much like Jane will be Earth Thor, and a way to kind of set it up is not like just, oh, like our Thor is gonna trust her with it. He's not gonna want to be there if all they're gonna be doing is shitting on him all the time. Cause that's his character. He kind of likes being the man, the macho, right?
Well, I
So
mean, not anymore. Actually, kind of still, yeah. I mean, he's Thor. He's a
do
big
you
old dude.
remember the end of the Guardians thing when he's traveling with them and he's just clicking the button against
Yeah,
Quill?
yeah, that is true.
Like,
Yeah, he
he
definitely.
knows he still has some control there, but when he comes back for that movie, he's gonna have. I don't think he's gonna have anything. If I'm gonna be honest
I
with you,
mean,
I don't think like I think it's gonna be more of like, like he's there and stuff, but
well, I mean, yeah, I definitely. Obviously he's going to be a part of it, but who knows? We got a Thor movie, and it ended up having a Hulk story. So
that's true.
don't ever think Taika Waititi won't throw you for a curveball. Well, we
That's
know we're getting
true.
another.
I just think it's gonna probably set up. This is gonna be her trilogy, and he's probably gonna go with the Guardians to set up the Asgardians trilogy. That's just me.
I highly doubt that. You know why? Money,
Because money.
money.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Why?
that's fair.
Why would you change your trilogy and then remarket it? Go, hey, this is the fourth Thor movie. Thor's not in it anymore. You have to go watch the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which aren't their movies anymore. They're Thor movies now.
That's true. I mean, he could still show up like Anthony Hopkins showed up like a bit.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying he can't show up, but I'm saying like
But I just think they're gonna go with Jane over him, just because it
I mean,
seems like they're probably gonna go with Lady Thor.
I don't think so,
But
man. Like
that's just
that's
me.
that's like her getting her own movies. Yeah, totally see it. Taking over the Thor ones, no.
Gotta market them
That,
somehow.
well, I mean,
Especially from a
that's one.
character who no one like was really a fan of. Like
All
they're
right,
gonna
but
have to like reinvent the wheel with her.
well, all right. Think about it like this. Why would you market them as Thor movies if they're not Thor movies anymore? That doesn't make sense. If they're Jane movies, market them as their own thing.
But
Like
in the
what? But
comics,
I mean,
she's
for
Thor
example,
when she becomes Thor.
yeah, well, she sucks in the comics. But freaking all right. So how about this? If instead of Spider-Man movies, they're not Spider-Man movies. They're all Iron Man movies. Like they
Ooh,
market
that's
these Spider-Man.
Pog. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm making a joke.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if Spider-Man is sold to you? Hey, this is an Iron Man movie. Iron Man's in it. This is an Iron Man movie. But it's not. It's clearly a Spider-Man movie. So why would you go watch Thor and you go, that's not Chris Hemsworth. That's Padme Amidala.
Lamau. You
You
are
know, it's
right.
just
You
like
are right. I just
it's like
I just think that's what they're gonna do, but I think we could agree to
but also,
disagree.
yeah, but also from a marketing standpoint, wouldn't you want two separate sets of movies? You know, Thor has his movies, Jane has hers. Then you can sell two different lunch boxes.
Ooh, I like lunch.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Let's talk about WandaVision.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, right? So
So
like 4 was like a recap. Like you got to see like how Monica got in with Jimmy Woo, who by the way, what was so great is he mastered the card trick.
yeah, Marvel's pretty good at those deep cut references.
Uh like Ant-Man is they're not the best movies. I enjoy them for what they are. Like the second one, not so much, but I did like the first one.
Yeah, the first one's all right. I started watching the second one once. I was like, whatever.
The problem is it's literally you could tell like there's not even a villain. It's just like setting up for future phases and
Yeah.
Endgame.
Anyway, WandaVision.
WandaVision. Yeah. He's always a good character in those movies though. So, but and then what else? You got to see Monica's past, like how she came back from like from like the precipice of death.
Well, I mean, it not precipice. It was death. She did die. You know,
Yeah.
she came back from. You know,
And like, oh
freaking.
yeah, it was nothing more than like 5 hours, you know. And then it's like, no, you've been gone for 5 years, and her mom's gone. She didn't get to say bye to her mom, and she was right there. And
Yep.
like, what I think this does good, right? Is like we knew this character from a shitty movie. We're not gonna talk about. We're not. I'm not tangenting. I'm just explaining this. And like it sets this character up perfectly about who she is. At least I think it does. Like
This
she
whole show is.
what?
Yeah.
No, no, you
I
go.
was. I was gonna say this whole show is a pretty clever backdoor pilot for whatever she's gonna get to do in like her own show or Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah.
Like
Like
after I saw the finale, like after the finale, it's like it's painfully obvious that this is like low key, like she's here to be introduced for something else, which is cool. That it's nothing wrong with that. But it's like she went from being a character with stake in the plot to a character who got like a card that said or like throws up a peace sign and it's like see you in the next one. Not that
yeah.
there's anything wrong with that. Just an observation I've
It's
made.
something that the Marvel movies do a lot.
Yeah.
Especially like in phase 1, they did it a lot more like to set up the Avengers.
Yeah. Pretty
Um
much anything with an extended universe and like the character comes from another show, it's like writing on the wall. You can tell that they're gonna get their own show. Like
yeah.
they start getting important but having minor stakes in the plot and they're like surprisingly like in-depth character and you're like, this is crazy for like
Yeah, it's why we
a
have the Legends of Tomorrow thing, right? Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah,
They have like a
stuff like
bunch of
that.
side characters just like in it, like
Yeah,
as
it's all
main characters.
yeah, it's all a bunch of side characters who are cool enough to have more than one episode, but not cool enough to carry their own show.
Yeah.
Like like I said, like just in TV in general, you can tell you're like, yep, they're getting a spinoff.
Yeah.
Or like, yep, they're coming back in something else. I can smell it.
Like I never thought something from what could be one of the movies I kind of really didn't like would have had what I think is an actually good written character for, like that stems from it.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Monica's like my favorite character. I thought she was hella interesting.
I thought so too. Like I really liked that, like, cuz it seems like no matter what her character is, I want to take the charge and like I'm gonna do this because I can't, like, because I know there's people that need me.
Yeah, freaking just like also that whole episode I think is just very expertly written because you finally get to see everything for what it is. And it's also the opening of it, watching like the snap to bring everyone back is supposed to be like in Endgame, it's like a triumphant moment, like hell yeah, we brought everyone back, they're all alive. And here it's like a fucking horror scene. Like imagine the horrible implications of just out of
Yeah.
nowhere, people that died 5 years ago just show back up.
Like
And no one knows. Like, the general public don't know what's going on. They didn't know what was going on when they disappeared to begin with, and now they're all back.
yeah. Like like in Spider-Man they made a funny scene. In this it became really compelling and it's like, wow.
Yeah, like I just think it's amazing that like, in Spider-Man it's like that was really funny watching the guy get socked by a volleyball, or in Endgame where it's like everyone's alive, like Cliff's wife is alive. It's like this quiet moment. And then in WandaVision it's fucking horror, you know. It's just very expertly written. They took a good moment and they made it terrifying. Like the
Yeah.
how it's like miracles that calls back to the first time we ever saw Wanda. There's nothing more horrifying than a miracle.
Yeah. And I guess like something else to add about that was Spider-Man Far From Home takes place like 9 months after, like a few months afterwards, like during that summer cuz they all took that trip. So they've had
Yeah,
a few
exactly.
months to like deal
Yeah,
with it. Whereas this
yeah,
is the
exactly.
first time we've ever seen it right afterwards.
Yeah, we literally saw people react to what the hell it is like to suddenly see the whole world just show back up again.
Yeah.
And it's sad too for Monica. Imagine her mom had cancer. She's probably thinking she only has a few years left. And poor Maria Rambo, fucking her daughter just dies before her, and then
Yeah.
sad. And
And
then poor
she
Monica
and,
comes back to life only to find out she missed her mom's death.
and she survived and she was just like, "Oh yeah, like she got rid of it, like it's probably not going to be a problem for the next couple of years. I at least have my mom until then."
Yep, she and then her mom, came back and killed her. Monica missed it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think episode 4 is a pretty good episode. I think episode 5 is pretty good because it has a really strong ending.
So yeah,
With,
I think that's my favorite like ending of like possibly any show, if I'm going to be honest. Like an
I just,
episode, not like a
yeah,
series.
yeah, no, I get it. I
Um
loved it 'cause, like the credits started rolling and then they like started arguing. I was like, hell yeah,
yeah,
fucking, this is getting heated.
cuz it was a long time coming after Vision has been getting curious.
Yeah,
Because he's smart. Like we know he's smart. He's a supercomputer. And the thing that I really liked about like not just that scene but the whole episode is something we haven't even seen in any of the movies, and that's that this he's human. At the like he
yeah,
has feelings. It's something that like for so long it was like Jarvis is just a super being.
yeah. Well, no, I mean, I kind of disagree with that. This is not the first time he's shown to have feelings. I think this is the, he's always had them. Like you watch Civil War and he has feelings that are misguided, and then you watch Infinity War and you're like, he's just a whole ass dude now.
Yeah.
You know, like even in when he first shows up in Age of Ultron, he starts like beating them up and he immediately stops when he looks out at the sky. So it's like he's always had feelings, but I think like it was just interesting to see that like here it finally feels like he's a full person.
Yeah. That's
and not someone who's trying to develop feelings. Like they're all there. He's a person now.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just never felt like an attachment towards him until like this whole series. Because like
I get you.
I felt for him as a character during this because he doesn't know what's going on. And
Yeah, he only gets the inclination that everyone else is being like puppeted by Wanda, but he doesn't know why. He knows something's up, but
yeah.
not everything.
And then like at the end, like what was this one based? This one was with the kids. This was the 90s sitcom, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was when they grew up.
Yeah. Yeah, so that way like they didn't have to deal with them. Or they wanted to grow up so that way they could do like more stuff.
Yes, they could get a dog.
And yeah. And like weird things were happening and Vision didn't know why, and it was like setting up for what was I think a terrific ending, which was he didn't let the show end. Like she was literally in control of being like the show's ending, and he's like, no, I want to know this, and you should be honest with me because we're married.
Exactly.
And then just to distract everything, which we find out why this happens, we see Pietro, who's not Pietro, but some random. I'm not gonna say it until episode 9. Until we get there, we see Pietro as X-Men's as the X-Men casted character of Peter Evans.
Yeah, freaking that one. Yeah, that was cool. It was cool to see him as Quicksilver again.
Like, and I guess like that one where I think we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that later, but episode 6 happens, and it's like that one is based on what is it called?
6 is Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, Malcolm in the Middle. And
that episode was good, but hella short.
It was. I feel like it was there to further like. Not to further it too much, but to like further it enough because we saw Vision like leave.
I think that's the raising the stakes episode. Like that's where it's like, all right, it's getting serious now.
Yeah.
Like this is no more just haha. It's a comedy with like dark it's a sitcom with like dark shit happening. Now it's like, oh shit, like she made it bigger. She's fucking pissed. She does not want anyone to come in. Shit like that.
Yeah. Oh wait, I think that one happened in episode 5.
No, in 5 she made it red instead of blue.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that. That's what I thought you were talking about. Oof.
No, because in 5, that's when. Oh no, 4 she makes it red because she flies outside and she's like.
No, that's 5. In 4 is just them.
Oh yeah. 5 is when she flies outside and she's like, "Go fuck yourself." Then 6, where she's like, "You know what? Fuck these guys. I'm gonna make it bigger."
What I loved in that moment was in episode 3 when what's her name comes out, Monica. She still has that outfit on from like the 80s.
Yeah.
But when Wanda comes out, she just has her suit on. Like she changed, but Monica like didn't, which I thought was good.
Yeah. I guess because like Monica's like Monica wasn't being possessed, so I guess she could just wear whatever she wanted.
Yeah. And then
Oh wait, Monica. Sorry, I got confused with Agatha. I get what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah.
no, yeah.
We're not yes. But going back to episode 6, yeah, she made it bigger and redder and like um was this the one where Hayward was where Darcy was Hayward is and then he says terrorist?
Think I don't remember. Yeah,
I don't
but
remember. But I think what it did was definitely gave like it showed the tension that Pietro like gave like coming in. Because Vision had zero idea who he was, and then Wanda and him weren't getting along well because he's a troublemaker. Which that
yeah,
didn't even seem like who he was as a person in Ultron. So I found that interesting. It seems like
it
he was
definitely
definitely a show-off, but not...
not Quicksilver from X-Men. He was. Yeah, they were two very different people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked episode 6. 7 was cool. That was like a sit down. That was like a cool off
That was
episode for the past
Monica...
few.
no, not Monica. That was Wanda's, like, dissension into depression. Like, we
Yeah, she was
saw,
pretty
like,
bad.
her, like, basically break the fourth wall and just be like, I'm fine, right? Like, like, everything's fine. Like, she's in grief. Like, this is, like, she's starting to realize it.
Yeah, and then fucking
And I
got
think
a
that, like, a
sleeper.
part of... this is only her grief on Vision, though. This isn't the whole scenario that's going on. Like,
Yeah, I think.
she's kind of going through denial here, and then, like... It doesn't even skip to bargaining. It doesn't even, like, go with anger and bargaining. She just goes to depression in episode 8,
Yeah.
which is insane. But what else? Like you had like Vision and Darcy um becoming friends and them, telling each other what's going on, which was kind of cool. And we still see Hayward, who's kind of still being a bitch. And what else? Oh, this was the episode with Photon. When she
Yeah, that
becomes
was the
Photon.
to
That
me
was
that was the
so cool. This is what I think like she was a good character, but this is what I think made her like really good in my opinion, because this is what makes she's like, no, I'm not gonna give up on this. Like I'm gonna save her. I wasn't able to save my mom. Whatever, I wasn't able to save whatever thing that happened between us and Carol.
yeah.
Might as well do this. So like because
Yeah,
I
that
know
was a pretty good
Wanda's
move for her.
good. So what did you say?
I was saying that was a pretty good character moment for her, and to me, that was one of the better scenes in the whole show.
Yeah.
Just her getting her powers.
And it's not like her getting the powers, it's her walking through it and seeing every part of her life. Like and this, by the way, is almost a foil to what Captain Marvel did. Because we saw, like, oh, Carol Danvers did this, this, and this, but we didn't have any context towards it. They didn't have any lines for it. It was just her looking towards, like, a different part of the camera. Right?
Yeah,
But with Monica, we heard all of these things. Like, we heard the first thing when Monica's introduced, like, oh yeah, I could go live with Grandma and Grandpa. And, like, you hear, like, all, like, the stuff with Sword and Hayward. And you hear,
you hear Captain Marvel at one point. You hear her mom.
Captain Marvel, like, like when she was a kid. You hear her mom. But these are, like, important things that shaped her. And she's just like, they're all a part of me, and becomes Photon through that. And what's even like greater about that is in episode 8, we saw that like Wanda she didn't go through like that type of deal, But she went through stuff like with that. So Monica gets her powers through the Mind Stone, which I don't think is something that happens in the comics.
I don't know if it'd be the Mind Stone. I think it's just like the magic Wanda's doing, because like they made it clear what Westview is not because of the Mind Stone. It's just Wanda's powers, which I mean they come from it.
But Wanda's powers are amplified by the Mind Stone, so I don't know if Wanda's powers could just make, that. But I think the amplified powers with the Mind Stone are what make it.
Well, it's also, don't forget, like Agatha's a witch, but it just, and she said that stuff about like Wanda's power, like she read that the Scarlet Witch is not born, she is like created.
Yeah.
So it's like Wanda touching the Mind Stone is literally like her witch powers act, the Scarlet Witch being like, all right, here are your powers.
Yeah, which is what I felt like what it was with Photon.
No, that's just her powers. That's like, who knows? Maybe it is a product of the Mind Stone. Probably is, but at least all her, it's Wanda's powers, and they come from it. So sure, they probably have some essence of it there. But like, the only thing that is the Mind Stone is the piece of it that lives inside Wanda. And that's Vision. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Which is what I think helped Monica get the powers instead of other things happening, like her dying. Like it was things like in her mind. Like that's like why I thought it was more of the Mind Stone. Like her kind of like coming back together were all things that like probably like either what she was thinking or stuff like her memories.
Yeah, because like that makes sense. That like that's why she has like powers, kind of like Captain Marvel. Just and it's also like, it was even they even teased it was happening because they mentioned that her like DNA was changing.
Yeah.
The first time she had went in, so clearly being, affected by this magic, and maybe it's only Mind Stone magic, has some kind of a long-term effect on you, and dare I say, causes a mutation.
I know. I was gonna get to that. I'm like, it's like she is what could possibly be our official third mutant, because we had Pietro who died.
Yeah.
Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and now Monica, which is interesting because I don't think she is one in the comics. I think she gets her powers elsewise or elsewhere.
Well, I think Monica's a mutant.
She probably is, but
Well, technically, most of the Avengers are classified as mutants by like the Sentinels. Spider-Man, Hulk, even Cap.
Yeah, Cap is a mutant.
Yeah, Hulk. Pretty much anyone with superpowers is a mutant.
Yeah. Which is kind of, it's cool. Yeah. And then at the end of this episode, we get this is also a really good ending of an episode, which is it's been Agatha all along.
Yeah, I liked that, where like she just shows up and she's like, "Yep, I've been doing the fucky wucky. You're welcome."
And like she did it in a very comedic way. I think this is a good way that like wraps up all of the comedy.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because like it's the last time like any part of the show is remotely funny.
And like the last two episodes feel like, yep, this is a superhero movie, instead of like this is something new and something different. This is now, it's kind of a Marvel movie now. I get it.
Yeah, that I definitely agree. Like,
which isn't bad. It's just, it's something that was like necessary, because if we kept continuing this trend, like we would get nowhere. So
yeah, it's gotta end eventually.
And I think that like episode 7 was a good transition, because you still had parts of the comedy, but there were like a lot of the underlying stuff was starting to build to make it more serious. And that crossroads was her seeing what happened with her kids.
Yeah, that was rough.
To
Big
seeing
sad.
like her kids like stuff like her kids were like in the basement, and then Agatha's just like it's been me, and like yeah, she does a really good job of that. And like in episode 8, moving on to that, like what I really liked about it was we got to see like Wanda and her past, like everything that led up to it, like the television, the like her family in Sokovia with the television, her having like some of her powers in Sokovia to stop the bomb, even if she is denying it.
Yeah.
Which
Like, yeah.
which when I saw that, I wasn't too big of a fan of, because I kind of just like liked that the Mind Stone was the reason over they've had this power all along.
Right. When they
Um,
did that, I was like, oh, that's probably like their way of like prepping us to be like, guys, she's a mutant. She always had the powers. The Mind Stone just amplified them.
which I guess makes sense, but like
But that could also explain why they're the only two that didn't die to it.
that's
Like they
true.
mentioned, they're like everyone else who we've tried this with just died. And, they never explain like why Wanda. Like I guess you could say like, oh well, Wanda was always destined to be the Scarlet Witch, or maybe the Scarlet Witch chose Wanda. And it's like, okay, yeah, but then how do you explain Pietro? Like, what if was he like the one who just genuinely could handle it?
That's
But if they were
true.
always gonna have their powers, maybe
And
the Mind Stone amplified it.
yeah, and because well, and it would make sense because Monica like even if like if it was something with the Mind Stone, she was always what is it like it was only a piece of the Mind Stone. It wasn't the full thing.
Yeah, just a bit of its power that's in Wanda,
Yeah.
because her
So
powers come from.
yeah. What else? And like yeah, that was good. And then like they became the volunteers. And then we saw what happened in the in the Avengers Tower with her and Vision, and it's like when you
They really
first
moved on.
do we actually like see them like have like any of these moments in like I don't remember like Civil War too well.
Yeah, they were close. They didn't show a lot of it, but like, little stuff. How she like mentions that he keeps coming through the door or the wall instead of the door, or like how he's trying to cook her a Sokovian dish for her so to distract her. It's like little stuff, and like because without that, it would kind of you would kind of think like, oh, their relationship came out of nowhere. But even in like Age of Ultron, when he like rescues her at the end, he carries her away. In Civil War, they're very close together.
Yeah.
And remember, like it kind of seems like they're both hesitant to fight against each other in Civil War, but they do.
Yeah. And this is just like another piece of that puzzle. Like a bigger piece of the puzzle, to say the least, but it shows like a wholesome moment where she's watching sitcoms and he's just like, I could go away, I guess. And she's just
Yeah.
like, nope, you could sit. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll just succumb to my to my stalker.
Yeah, to my depression and stalker all at once.
And it's just like it's such a cute moment between them, and Agatha's just like, blah, let's just go to the next thing. Like, let's see what happens, like, with everything. And you finally get to see Hayworth for the piece of shit he really is.
Yeah, gonna kill Wanda, fucking, or just everything with in the past. When he's like, nope, not gonna let you say goodbye to him. You can watch him get sawed in like fucking 20.
But
That's how you can say
he
goodbye to him.
so did that on purpose. Especially seeing the ending of the episode, like the end scene. He
Yeah,
wanted her to
well,
resurrect him.
oh, totally. But didn't happen.
Nope.
She couldn't feel him anymore.
She couldn't. Which was crazy. It was so cool. And then, like, she goes back, and that was, like, the first time, like, she did everything on accident, like, how she said, like, these people, like, you know, like, yeah, they probably had their own underlying problems that, like, kind of helped with this, but Wanda, like, it's not that she wanted to manipulate them, it's that she wanted to just... this is like, it was her grieving, like, that power just manifested in her. With her grief. And, like, in Endgame, it was like, oh, yeah, she could actually go the toe-to-toe with Thanos somewhat. Without not with the gauntlet, but... No, wait, oh, did he have the gauntlet by then?
No, he didn't. He just had his big old sword.
Yeah. Like, even, and then I remember it was an earlier episode when they said, oh yeah, she could have taken out, she was probably the only one that could take out Thanos, and Monica said that. I forgot to mention this, because we should talk about this. And then, Jimmy Woo, he's just like, yeah, but I heard, Captain Marvel could too, and she's like, eh. And I loved that. I loved everything about that. Not because I don't like Captain Marvel, but because it shows something happened between Captain Marvel and when she was disappearing.
Yeah.
There's, like, definitely some underlying thing that makes you think, like, when there was the end credit scene of her going up to space, she's probably going to be in Captain Marvel too.
Definitely.
And I think that
Maria Rambeau won't be.
Yeah, and I think that's when hopefully they actually write Carol as a character instead of as a, you know.
Hopefully. I mean,
someone
also
boring as shit.
This is the second time we've had an end credits with the Skrulls, so they are ramping up for something.
They are. We will talk more about Skrull in a bit. But, yeah, I talked about that part, so... Yeah, so yeah, and then, like, she manifests Vision through her piece of the Mind Stone, which was cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's interesting to finally get the answer if it's actually his fucking corpse or not that she's puppeting around.
Yeah. Which was cool. It was just, like, something that manifested and that she couldn't control. And and in reality, she couldn't control any of them. But Agatha, as the person she is, made, like, her character was to make us think she is. And Agatha was just helping her out, when in reality, Agatha just wanted something else.
Just trying to steal her powers.
So... And when she claps, like, that was really good. When it's like, yeah, she's been the one filming. It really was Agatha all along. And she's just like, you're doing chaos magic and, you know, like, you only come out, like once in, like, forever. You're the Scarlet Witch. You could just do whatever you want because that's your powers.
Yep.
And, not to mention, like, she couldn't even use her powers somewhat because of the rune magic, which will be important in the next episode. It's so great that, like, the callbacks, like, even if it was just an episode apart, that was, like, such a good callback.
It's good. It's a good Chekhov's gun, or Chekhov's rune, I should say.
Yeah. And then episode 9 happens, and this is, like the last, like, 40-ish minutes of a Marvel movie, where, like, this is the battle, and that happens, and we see the White Vision. I don't even know if it's a Sentinel anymore, because...
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it was ever really a Sentinel to begin with anymore, because it kind of seems like they were hinting at all the mutant stuff, and then they're just like, we'll just keep hinting at it.
Yeah.
You know, like,
because they haven't confirmed, like, oh yeah, X-Men is gonna be something soon. I remember the big property they confirmed was, they said
Fantastic.
something about X-Men. But I know that, like, they officially confirmed Fantastic Four at some point, which is why I thought the end was like, oh, is she gonna see Reed Richards in the theater?
Yeah, because everyone thought like the person that they always kept referencing, they were like, "Oh, I know a guy." And it's like, it's probably Reed Richards. Richards. But
Yeah, it
yeah. So
wasn't.
what do you think of the finale?
I think that it was good as a setup for what will be Phase 4, and good for Multiverse of Madness. I just feel like it was lacking that, like, big thing that normally happens at the either the end of the Marvel movies with the end credits, or like something else. Like, I really like how it culminates, but I expected a bit more for the end credits.
Yeah, for me, the finale was good. My only thing is like it felt like it forgot a lot of the shit the show did. Like for example, like we already said Monica, it kind of feels like they set her up and then they threw her away. And they're like, yeah, she'll do like one or two cool things, but she'll be important in like a Captain Marvel movie. So I'm like, all right, I can understand that.
Yeah.
And then it's like who was that guy that Jimmy was always like talking with? It's like, doesn't really matter. It was just an FBI guy apparently. You know,
Yep.
it didn't matter in the end. So
Yep.
like, shit, like even Hayward felt like such an afterthought. Like he got what? Darcy hit him with a truck, and she's just like have fun in jail, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like when the like FBI people or when Hayward's people were coming in, I was like, this is gonna be a fucking problem for Wanda. I'm like, she's gonna have to deal with Agatha. She's got to deal with the fucking these guys, and like, she's in a spot right now.
Those
But
guys
then
were
like,
also after Agatha.
yeah, but like,
Which is like, no,
but
you wanted to deal with Wanda, right? Just don't.
yeah, but also like, what does it matter? Like, they didn't do anything. They got beat by the kids, and that was the only thing Monica got to do was beat them. And then Vision beat, and then the White Vision. It's like, cool. Where'd he go? Like,
That's true. Like,
shoulda
I
shoulda been.
really thought it would have been a better. Like, I understand why they did the end credits, and we'll like go along with it. Like, once like we get there, because it is kind of more of the bigger stuff. But I really like that was one of my questions. Like, I really wish that like he was there like when everything came like when everything ended. And he was with like because he has the memories and he now knows why. And he says I am Vision. And that means
Yeah,
that like you still like love Wanda, don't you? So I felt like there like I just wanted like it to end a bit. I just felt like I get you have to set up for the rest of the phase, like the future phases, other stuff, but I feel like White Vision was something that could have been done here.
yeah. Well, I mean, just like I don't know. It just feels like they're like, he'll be back, and I'm like, back in what? Like Doctor Strange? Like, damn, now it's two fucking characters that could take his shit away. I'm like, but I'm trying to think of like, what else would he show up in? Like how do we see this again? But like the finale was fine, but like I don't know. It's just like it just feels like a lot of stuff. Like I think everything with Agatha was fine. I was like, that stuff's good. That felt fulfilling. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what it was? This was the finale to WandaVision, but they set up so much other stuff, and I'm like, like it kind of feels like they didn't even really like set it up. They were just like, oh yeah, here's a loose string. Find out when we attach it.
Yeah,
Like I don't, like
it's not something that like Monica you can attach to something. We
yeah, that's
know
like a
that
Captain
Darcy will
Marvel.
probably show up in Thor. We know that Jimmy will probably show up in Ant-Man. whatever, but like those were kind of just like it was like, okay, well they're now unimportant again, and it's just like
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It was a good episode. I don't think it was bad, but I definitely think it was like it's all right.
and I was only
It's
fine with the
serviceable.
yeah. And I was only fine with the Hayward stuff because Hayward does only seems like he should be a villain for this. And after this,
Yeah.
like, he shouldn't do anything. Like
Well, I mean, I don't think he's going to. They kind of he's literally the same thing as the fucking
he's like
business dude from Iron Man 2. He's just
yeah.
there to be another villain. And like
Yeah.
I don't know, like what's his motivation? I want Vision. I want Vision to be turned on. Wanda bad, me want to kill her. Like, yeah, like I don't think anyone's gonna stand here and say Wanda's a good person for kidnapping a whole town for like a long time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you know, the FBI doesn't seem fucking bloodthirsty for her, but why is Hayward like so fucking adamant about killing her? Like I get he had his like she trained all his guns on him, but it's like fuck man, this guy was bloodthirsty from the beginning. He was coming out swinging.
I think what it was is he saw these people coming back, including Monica, as a thwart to like what he's built over 5 years. The 3 years after not Monica, her mom Maria died.
Yeah.
Like he built this, and now everyone's back.
Yeah, and it's like his plans are going to waste, but like I don't know. I don't think Hayward was a particularly good villain.
He's not a good villain. He was there to progress the story. Like he was there to progress the outside.
Yeah, but so he's a plot device,
He is.
which makes him, you know, not a good character.
He's not a good character.
You know.
He's literally Ace. He's just a plot device.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
I'm sorry, One Piece fans who don't think that Ace is a plot device, but he is. He just looks cool.
Harsh words you're spitting out, Kyle.
It's true though. Like literally Sabo is Ace 2.0 and he's like a much more like I like that he's much more compassionate than Ace, so I'm good with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was always like the fun one compared to like Ace who was like, "Ooh, my dad is you know, like was the king." And now it's like, "What was my life or whatever?" And it's just like, if you're just a plot device, Like if he didn't die, that would have been cool. Like to see him progress through the story with dealing with his depression. We saw you in like an arc. That's all I got. My One Piece tangent for the day.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
But yeah, the finale was all right. I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh, the ending is kind of like cool because it, you know, it implies that like, you know, the children are somewhere. You know, like.
So I do have something on that.
Yeah.
So let's just there was something else I wanted to mention. Like we mentioned like the vision stuff. Like I think that moment was so cool that amounted to nothing, which was him seeing the memories.
I definitely think it was one of the better scenes in this episode, and it was like, I don't know, like. Granted, I think another show or movie that did this similar thing was Captain America: Winter Soldier. Like, you know, Bucky has an epiphany and he leaves, but at least you get some kind of stinger at the end credits to know that, like, yeah, he's coming back.
Which is what made it good, though. Like that's what made that good. Was like, oh my god, Bucky knows now.
Yeah, like it, because like before that, it could be you can just assume like, oh, Bucky's out there. I guess, you know, hopefully he's living a good life. But then you see the end credit, you're like, oh well, we're gonna see him again. But like with White Vision, it's literally like they have this really cool moment where it's like, you know, he gets his memories back and he is Vision, and he's like, okay, bye, I'm gonna leave now. I don't need to be here anymore.
Yeah, It's like it's so and like I don't know, it's just weird. Like I mentioned already, what's weird about that part is he now has all of the memories. He now has all of the thoughts, and it seemed like he could also have some of the feelings.
Exactly.
So it's just like he should have been there at the end. It's just weird that he wasn't. He
I
just
thought
he just
I thought you go, you go.
he just walks up and leaves. Anyways, you go.
I was gonna say I thought the scene at the cabin was gonna be like when it zoomed in on like what looked like a door. I was like, oh, I bet you he's gonna open it and he's just gonna like it's gonna like zoom in on his face and he's gonna go Wanda, kind of like like when he first woke up in the TV world, and then it's gonna be
Yeah.
like oh like implied that maybe this is their chance at living a life together.
That would have I think that would have been better. I thought that would have been a better scene, yeah. Like it would have made
But
more
also
sense.
like I don't know, Witchy Scarlet Witch doing her magic stuff was cool because I'm like oh like maybe this is how Wanda like gains a villainous personality. Like, who knows? Maybe like her magic is literally causing a split personality now.
Yeah. Um is there anything else? I liked how they wrapped up Agatha.
Yeah, I do like it. It's like it's a pretty good way to beat the villain, just to mind control her. And I don't know what she was alluding to. Being like, "There's something coming. You don't, and you're gonna need me." And I kind of like how Wanda's like, "Yeah, well, I know where you are."
So they said that she will bring the destruction of the world. And that's what she is referring
Yeah.
to.
Well, yeah, but like, what is it? Because the way Agatha begged for help, it kind of sounded like, yeah, the Scarlet Witch heralds destruction, but it does not sound like she's the one that causes it. Like, why would that's like for my controller like dying or something?
And the
Anyway,
problem with
that
that statement, like I think it's a good statement because it's like, oh, you'll need me and like everything. But there is a problem of, okay, that could be dealt with in this phase, during the multiverse of madness. That could be dealt with during next phase, during a big bad event. That could be dealt with 5 phases from now. That could be the literal end of the MCU. We don't
yeah,
know. It's
exactly.
not
That's
setting
what
up something we know about, which can be a hype, but it's also just like, what are you leading to? It kind of
well, I mean,
doesn't make
that's what I'm
too much
saying.
sense.
Well, I mean, it's not supposed to. It's like this is think about it. It's kind of like I don't know, the MCU is a little running on autopilot. It's like yeah, like the individual superheroes have their villains to deal with, but like why would they ever need to come together again? Every time they came together, it was like because Thanos is doing something, or because Thanos did something, the Avengers do this, and because of that, something else happens. It's like, and back to like, Wanda, the Scarlet Witch brings the end of the world. Like, if she's the one ending the world, why is Agatha being like, oh, to prevent that, you're going to need my help? So clearly, the Scarlet Witch does not cause the end of the world, but she brings it. Like, she's not the one who ends it, but it is her existence that will make it happen.
I have a question. Is it going to like because it could be a few things. It's not going to be like obviously it's not going to be Galactus or Doom or Magneto. Like someone
I
like
don't know.
really high up there of like these are well known.
Well, I
It's
mean, you just listed the high up, well known end
no
bosses.
no
Like
no no
Galactus
no.
is like,
What I meant by doing that was this is not going to be like this isn't it, Chief. Like these aren't going to be like what this is. Right?
I mean, maybe we don't know.
So like my thought with it is it could be like I'm thinking like maybe he's not he wasn't in it, but this could be leading towards a Mephisto.
It could, but
Grim
like you said,
Reaper is
we don't
another
know.
option.
Yeah, we have no idea. We have to wait and see.
But I think my problem is like we like with everything with Thanos we kind of knew, but like again, this could just be like in retrospect, this could be awesome, and we just don't know.
Yeah, well, also don't forget, we didn't know that Thanos was the puppet master behind it all till Avengers, like
That's
5
true.
movies in. So
That
we kind of can expect to wait a little bit before we get an answer at like who's going to be our big bad.
yeah, it's true. We don't know, and I just don't see it being. I think it has to be something more magic based because Agatha knows about it.
Yeah, it's something.
Which is why I just don't. I can't see it being a Doom or a Galactus or Magneto.
I don't think it's Doom, Doctor Doom or Magneto, but I could see Galactus, like just be like, be like, oh, how do you know about Galactus? Be like, how do we know about Galactus? He's a being that eats planets, and witches have magic. You could say some shit like, all the magic foretold.
That's true.
You know.
I could see it.
But then again, I just hope it's good, whoever it is. But
And then now we're kind of at end credits. I thought that was so sad. That scene at the end when she has to say goodbye.
yeah, that was pretty sad. Felt bad for her. Like I said, she had to watch Vision die 3 times.
Potentially
That
a
poor
fourth
woman.
if she gets a relationship with White Vision.
Yeah, but I mean, freaking poor woman. She's not been having a good time. But
No.
she learned to. All she did was cause more pain for herself. Sadly, and for others. And I think that's what really like broke her. It's just like I think that's why she was able to let it go.
Yeah, she was able
Because,
to she was able to accept everything in this episode.
yeah, and I think about it, even in this episode, when the people were like, "This is horrible," they're like, "No, you're fine, you're safe, you're happy," and they're like, "No, we are not. You're trying to be happy, and you're not even happy. Like, how do you think we feel? Like, this is miserable for us." So I think for her realizing, like, she is a good person at heart. She tried to make herself happy, and in realizing that, in trying to attain that, she couldn't make herself happy and was also ruining other people's lives. She's totally willing to let it all go, to say goodbye and give up her perfect world.
Yeah. And I think like with the Agatha stuff, she's now around for like if the eventual thing happens.
Exactly.
And she'll just be the nosy neighbor even though she will probably live like forever.
Yeah, she's just gonna be putter. How funny would that be though? If you're like, you live in Westview and you like go to like Walmart and you're like, hey, isn't that the bitch that like tried killing the lady that put us all in this mess? Like that's that evil witch lady, right? And it's like, yeah, she just lives down the block. I guess she's not gonna do anything to us.
Well, howdy neighbors, how you doing? And then they're like, fine, I guess.
That's like if Loki was possessed to be a good person. And like you walk out of your house and you're like, yep, there he is. That's the guy who invaded New York, watering the tulips.
Yep, pretty much. I think overall I really like the set. I really like that it did take place in one area of Westview. And seeing it change throughout the years was like a really cool like notch to it.
Yeah, just to see like, what it looks like in a 60s sitcom versus what it looks like in a modern day sitcom. Or, at this rate, just a modern day.
So let's talk. One more thing. I really like that at the end, Wanda and Monica were able to like patch up everything, and they're cool with each other.
Yeah, like I kind of like how Monica was like, she wasn't on her high horse, and she was legitimately like, hey, if I had this power, I probably would have brought my mom back.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like, no question about it, I would have done it. I'm like, yeah, there's a difference between agreeing and understanding. Like, sure, Monica can say that what Scarlet Witch did is not good, but it's like she understands. She's like, hey, listen, I'm sure a lot of people would do this given the chance.
Yeah.
And even recognizing Wanda has remorse, and Wanda's like, I don't know how to control my power. She's like, but I will. It's like, yeah, that's all you can honestly ask. You know, Wanda has these powers; she can't not have them.
She now has like the new powers. She became, which is weird because like she's known as Scarlet Witch in the comics, but she became the Scarlet Witch in the movies.
Yeah,
Which
I kind of like it.
yeah. Like, so the Scarlet Witch is known as, from what I have heard, is a Nexus being, which means like, which is like people that can like something about some multiverse stuff. I don't particularly know.
Who knows? I mean, they're good at adapting the comics and stuff, but they don't, they don't always bring over everything.
So, but I think that's more or less why she plays a role in Multiverse. I just don't know why. Or I don't know,
Yeah.
like, how, because I don't even know if her and Doctor Strange really, do anything. And it was weird that, like, Agatha knew about the Sorcerer Supreme. I really liked that, like, nod, too. She was like, you're even more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, like, setting up, like, oh, if they're the fight, wink, wink.
Yeah, like, yeah, to me it makes sense that they would know. Like, why wouldn't other magic beings know that magic beings exist? And then,
Do you think that Doctor Strange, or because I would have to think what's the Ancient One knew about Agatha and like the witch Cullen. Do you think Doctor Strange like knows or even cares?
eh, probably, like, she's probably gonna, like, show up at his door and she's gonna be like, I have this power. It's called the Scarlet Witch, and he's gonna, like, go full Doctor mode. He's like, yeah, I read up on it. And he's like, it's actually what's known as a Nexus being. It's quite interesting. And she's gonna be all shocked, and he's like, I was just waiting for you to come at my door. Didn't know your phone number.
Yeah. I mean, he could always just
like
go
some
there and just be like, Wanda, I know what you are, and I can help. And she's like, Pog!
Yeah, like, definitely, like,
Yeah.
seems that way. It's he seems like the kind of character who would know what's up, and I bet you too. Like, she's gonna show up and he's gonna be like, oh, the Westview anomaly, pretty interesting. That's a version of Magic Gone Wild. Pretty interesting concept. Read about it last year. Shit like that.
Like, I don't think I think the Ancient One would have judged her if she was, so the Sorcerer Supreme. He kind of doesn't really care too much about the dark shit.
I wonder, because then again, the Sorcerer Supreme also can see the future. Like,
Yeah.
remember when he traveled back in time and he was like, I'm looking for Doctor Strange, and she's like, oh, you're 5 years too late. And it's like, damn, like, she even fucking knows when he joins the squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who knows? But yeah, who knows? Maybe she would have passed judgment on Wanda and she'd been like, chaos magic. And Doctor Strange is probably like, eh.
Yeah, like, I think, like, she would have had more of a problem because she was more about, like, the ways, where he's more about, like, alright, we need to keep the world safe. Whatever that entails, that is what I'm going to do. So we talk about end credits now?
I mean, yeah, we kind of have. Like, we just kind of were, basically, with, like, the Wanda one at the end.
Well, the Wanda one at the end, we should probably talk about more, but, Monica's is just leading us to Captain Marvel 2, because I don't think she has her own show. She might?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think?
But, I mean, maybe, but I would like to see her own show.
Okay.
Maria Rambeau. But, Monica, who knows? Maybe she's going to play a big role in Captain Marvel. Because think about it, where's Captain Marvel? She's out in space somewhere, probably.
Yeah. Like, I think Monica is going to be more of a Clint Barton, what Black Widow was, like, that she's not going to have her own movies, but, like, the space stuff is she'll probably be around for some of them.
Yeah, like, who knows? Maybe she, like, checks in on the Guardians. She's in Captain Marvel. Maybe she's in the Thor movie a little bit if that's going to take place in space a lot.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah, that's my thought. She'll probably, like, if Wanda is... No, so I think her story for now is a bit done with Wanda. Now that I think about it, I think that they probably won't see each other for a while. But I think that when they see each other again, I think it will be a nice moment. Hello? See. Okay. Yo?
All right, there you go. Now I can hear you.
Okay, I was just saying, like, I think they're not gonna see each other for a while, but I think, like, when Wanda and Monica do, it's gonna be a nice moment.
Yeah, it'll be nice. Be like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, better now.
Yeah. Like, she's probably gonna ask her about her powers. It's gonna be kind of wholesome. It's gonna be nice.
Mhm.
And, oh, what else? So let's talk about the other end. Her in the cabin. Which wasn't like a bit like a big scene until the end where like she hears her kids, and like is that like do you think it's like her doing it like do you think it's like a Scarlet Witch personality just doing it without like her knowing?
Yeah, I think so, because it didn't really seem like Wanda had any inclination that it was happening.
Or do you think like it's just like she's able to she's just doing both at once, and this is her just
I think it's more like when
trying to
she's
figure it
not.
out?
I think like since she is the Scarlet Witch now, maybe her powers like when she's not using them, they're kind of manifesting them. You know, like kind of like it's become its own personality.
Hmm.
And while she is not actively the Scarlet Witch, it does its own thing.
Yeah. Like, I'm thinking maybe this is just one of her powers of, like, I can, I can, like, live my life while, the Scarlet Witch
Also
could
be
do
the
this, but
Scarlet.
I think the cost of it, because there's always a cause and effect, there's always, something different.
Yeah.
I think that this one is going to be, it will end up becoming a split personality.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe that causes problems for Wanda in the future.
Yeah, especially because she's dealing with the Darkhold, which it's dark magic.
Yeah.
And that could
Yes,
be
it
the
is.
thing that heralds the destruction. Like, Wanda didn't have to take the Darkhold, but she did.
Yeah.
It could have literally have just been locked up in Agatha's basement forever without anybody touching it.
But instead, Wanda's got it.
And she could hear her kids, which, again, both her and Vision, both them and Vision, not her and Vision, were both being
Yeah.
taken apart by this magic, this crux, this barrier, right?
Right.
And as we know, they have mutant powers, not just here, but in the comics. They're Speed and Wiccan, whichever,
Yeah.
you know. I think like that part, it could like it could just be thoughts over in her mind, just being like I have to save them, and that's what leads into a darker path, or it could be part of the Mind Stone. Just she could hear it,
Right.
and like the this is the like the Mind Stone. The part of the Mind Stone is like that's in her now also has the two of them. However,
So yeah.
she's also heard them scream before.
Yeah.
With like
Yeah.
at the end of episode 8, episode 9, at the end of episode 6, when Vision is when Wiccan, I don't remember if it was Billy or Tommy, sees sees what's his name on the sees their dad on the outside.
Yeah.
So she's heard them scream before, so it could just be something in her mind of, I have to get them back. And that's what the split personality is like going out and doing. It's going to be manifested of, I will do anything to get my kids back.
I don't know. To me, I took that as more like she's come to terms with losing them, but it's in a sense of like they're not lost though.
Yeah.
Like she gave them up. And I think it would kind of be an annoying development to be like, oh, Wanda gave him up, but because she's evil now, she didn't really give them up. So now that's going to be our plot. So, the I took that as more like in some way they are still out there, and now it's going to be this personality's like mission to get them back.
Well, I think
To
that's
like
why she
find
might
find
end up turning like if she ends up turning evil, I feel like that could be why.
Yeah, it could be. Just she's doing some fuck shit to get her kids back.
And she makes a deal with like the devil or with Nightmare or whatever.
Could be. Could
Um
be indeed.
so one last question before we rate it. Does Agatha return in Multiverse of Madness, or is that too soon?
Multiverse of Madness, I don't think so. I think probably one day she'll come back.
I think so as
But
well. I think that when we're dealing with Mephisto, or when we're dealing with whatever this thing is, that I don't think is going to be in Multiverse of Madness, because I think that's a bit too soon.
yeah.
Even though we're going to have like 80 shows before then from this. Um, you know. So I think it's too soon, but I figured I'd ask the question anyways, because now we're gonna have to ask ourselves, like, probably every single time Scarlet Witch is around, or Wanda, um, will Agatha show up in her next thing? And the answer is either gonna be yes or no. Because if you have one, you're gonna have if you have her, Agatha, you can have Wanda. Wanda's probably gonna be there because she knows where she is.
Yeah. I mean, it would make sense. Wanda's the one who would wake her up. So, if Agatha's going to show up, it at least means Wanda's probably showing up too.
Yeah. Cause what? Yeah. So overall, what do you rate it? Rate this show.
Um, Probably, like an 8. Feel
An
pretty
8.
good. It was pretty suspenseful. Had some like thriller, supernatural elements going on. I really dug it. It Yeah, it was pretty sound. Think it stuck its landing. I liked it.
I agree.
8.
An 8. I think it's the first time we've agreed, because normally you go lower, I go higher, or maybe like the other way around if I really hate it. But like, yeah, I think this is like one of the first times we've agreed on this. This is
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, definitely an 8. What was your favorite episode?
I really like 5, and I really like 7.
For me, my favorite episode was episode 8.
8's such a good one too.
I
I
just really
think I'm
liked
gonna
that
give it
one.
to 7, just because it's like the build up and the tension really started in episode 7, and I really like the
Mhm.
Agatha song. I'm obsessed with it. Um,
I guess. Yeah.
but episode 5, I mean, like I really like I mean, now that I think about it, probably 7, 8, 5 for me.
Yeah.
Um, I really do like 4 though. 4 is a good one.
For me, my favorites are episode 8, 6, and 4.
Yeah,
Those
6
are
is
the
a good
ones I
one
really
too.
dug. What was your least favorite episode?
Probably 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
I
me,
mean,
I'd have.
like it sets
Yeah,
up
sorry.
everything, but like, and like I like 9 for what it is a bit more than 1, but you know.
Yeah, for me, my least favorite episode's probably episode 3 when she has the kids.
Oh
Because
yeah,
like,
that's not.
I don't know,
Yeah.
it's a good episode, but like I don't know, it's just like it's decent, but it's also like the first 2 episodes have like this really like sinister vibe to them, and then episode 4 is like they're finally pulling the curtain back and showing you what's up, and then like episode 3 is like really goofy and silly, and it's like this is the episode that's supposed to lead into like you understanding what's going on, and it's like the ending is creepy, but like the whole episode is like, oh, ain't this wacky? And I'm like, yeah, it is, but I would like to see what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get that. Um let's go more towards the future. I got a couple of questions. First one I'm going to throw at you is Um, it's weird, right? Because like we can't just be like, oh, what's the future? Like, what's the future for Wanda and what's the future for this? Like we could do with like an anime or like a TV show or a video game. It's like we kind of know what the future is for Wanda. It's Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. So what I'm actually gonna ask is, in 2 weeks from today, and well, today like for us, and today when this video goes live, and hopefully an hour and 20 minutes, is is are you? How do you feel about Falcon Winter Soldier after this?
Literally has not changed my opinion on it. I mean, what does the show even really have to do with WandaVision? Like, nothing.
No, but like, does WandaVision, the TV show, get you more excited or not about Falcon Winter Soldier?
Nah,
Nope.
not really. I mean, it's just like, for me, Marvel movies do not get, like, one Marvel movie cannot get me hyped for the other unless they're related. Like, a good example is, like, I think the ultimate example of this is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. Like for me, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, people were like, "Oh my god, this is so great! I can't wait to watch it again." To watch it, I'm like, "Bro, I am not excited for that movie." I'm like, and I liked Ant-Man 1, but to me, like Marvel properties don't get me excited for other Marvel properties. Like I have to be interested in each story. Like I didn't watch like I didn't watch Doctor Strange and go, "Oh, I'm so excited to watch Black Panther." I watched Civil War and got excited for Black Panther. Like so to me, it's usually like and I'm not too interested in Bucky and Winter Soldier, so it's like another Marvel property that really doesn't have too much to do with it isn't going to get me too excited for it.
Okay. Um, that's fair. Um, are you going to watch it?
Maybe if it's good, I'll probably catch the first episode or two. But if it's
Um,
like I don't
yeah,
know, if it's nothing amazing, maybe I'll just hear about it from you. But if
yeah.
it's really cool, maybe I'll watch it.
So my thought about Falcon and Winter Soldier, has actually changed because of this.
Yeah, how so?
So, and you'd think, oh yeah, you'd be excited for it, right? No, I'm actually, because I
Hmm.
was excited for it at first, and then we got
Yeah.
WandaVision, which changed everything that I thought would be something Marvel related. It was so
Mhm.
weird and different that we're now gonna deal with more or less the same. Which I watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, not Falcon and Winter Soldier, Captain America: The Winter Soldier again on a couple of days ago because I'm watching them with my sister. I'm watching through the Marvel
Right.
movies with my sister, and that got me a bit more excited about it because I remember, like
Yeah.
like I remember how much I liked it, and I liked Captain America, and I liked their roles in Captain America, and I'm sure that it will be a good show. However, it's probably not going to be as something as like what this is going to be like. If we talk about it, it's probably going to be like, it might be an 8, a lower 8 that compared to WandaVision, but that's because WandaVision was like hit that spot where this was just the same notes.
Yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen. It's just like I don't know. Like to me, like Falcon and Winter Soldier looks like a pretty like safe by the numbers Marvel thing, and
Yeah.
I'm not really looking, and that's not really what I'm looking for. I like weird shit, especially since like I'm of the opinion that like I'm watching these movies on auto, like all this stuff on autopilot. Like it really has to wow me because like to me, I'm like, they're kind of over. Infinite Endgame was the end for me. I'm just kind of it just happens to have more to it. But like, so when it's like, oh, this kind of feels like it's going to be a by the numbers Marvel thing. I'm like, I'm not gonna bother. Like, why should I tune in? for multiple episodes for a show that I know is going to be okay.
Sure.
Or something that doesn't wow me. But, not to say that I think it'll be bad. I'm sure it'll be good. But, for example, like Loki, that's a show I'm interested in.
I know, dude. Like, this show gets me more excited for Loki. And that stuff. Like, I'm definitely, like, more interested in that, than Falcon Winter Soldier. I think Falcon Winter Soldier will be fine. Hell, I might like it more than WandaVision, and I don't know, but I'm going into it with lower expectations because this is just going to be by the books, a sequel to the Captain America stuff. Probably.
Yeah.
We'll probably see old Cap. We'll probably hit those notes. The end credits will probably show Thunderbolt Ross as Red Hulk. It's going to hit some notes.
Maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
I think we'll probably see Thunderbolt Ross again, which that I'm actually excited about. Because I think cool. Red Hulk versus She-Hulk is going to be cool. So
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't know if our Hulk will ever repair his arm. Our Professor Hulk.
I could use some fucky-wucky machines to do it, probably.
He could.
The superhero movie, you could just make shit up.
Loki comes out in the summer, right?
I have no idea when Loki comes out. I'll let the internet tell me.
I think it's the summer.
Next year. Oh, I thought it didn't come out this year.
No, I think they changed everything, because originally, like, WandaVision wasn't supposed to come out until, like, after, like a bit before Multiverse of Madness. And it ended up coming out before Black Widow. Okay, so I guess that is another thing we could talk. Like, I don't want to talk about Black Widow in particular. Why do you think Black Widow... Like, because we're not going to talk about it anywhere else, why the hell do you think Black Widow exists? Because, like...
The movie?
Yeah, because she's
a cool character.
What?
And they're too stupid... Because she's a cool character, and they were too stupid to make a movie beforehand.
That's true, but, like...
Or they didn't want to make one before. Now they're like, fuck, we don't know what we're going to do anymore. Might as well just, like, hey, let's give them a Black Widow movie now.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like there's gonna be something I don't think it's gonna be like a weird like face, because there's like this weird thing in the comics, right? With what's her name? With like I think it's like Yelena and Natasha, like some weird face swap thing that's happened before.
Who knows?
And to me, I'm just like, I really don't want that. Like, to me, her story ended in Endgame. And it made sense.
I don't know. I think I've told you this. I do not like it when a story kills off a character and then they immediately get a prequel about it. Like, it bothers me to hell. I'm like, cool, why did you kill that character then?
Like, I don't think...
To me, it seems like you're just selling it for shock value. Like, Black Widow's dead. Now watch her movie. And I'm like, I don't really give a shit about her movie, because the whole time I'm going to watch it and I'm going to think, well, she's fine. She doesn't die till Endgame.
Yeah. It is weird.
Like, and
it is weird.
And, like, Marvel movies are, like, the last series where I'm like, I need a prequel. I need to know what happens. Like, no. Do not need prequels from Marvel movies.
Like, I fear that Captain Marvel 2... Which I feared before the whole Monica stuff has been going on. That movie was just gonna be like a 2022, like a movie that took place before like Endgame's time skip.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, thank God. It's like with this, you have to probably resolve it with like the Monica stuff.
Yeah. Also, just letting you know, Kyle, I'm probably gonna have to leave soon because I'm gonna.
I'm trying to wrap this up. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm just giving you. I'm just like.
I just had
I
a
don't want to
couple
like.
like that like I legitimately had 2 questions that has now turned into 4. This was my third.
Okay,
Cuz
and the
Black
other one.
cuz like Black Widow, I guess like I don't want anything weird to happen. If anything, if this leads to one of them just being, okay, you're now recruitments of Sword on Earth, cool. That's fine. That's okay. But if it's a stupid face swap and she's just ScarJo, as like the Natasha we know, I wouldn't want that at all.
Yeah, that would ruin her death in Endgame.
It ruins her death, especially when like, cause Clint gives her up, and it's supposed to be this character he's traveled with for years, not someone who he's known for like like a year, and then 5 years removed from that. It'd be
Yeah.
weird. It would be weird. That's all I'm saying. It just wouldn't be good, in my opinion.
No, it wouldn't.
Last question, and more or less whenever we do this, if we do this again, we might not do it for Falcon Winter Soldier if like you're not as interested, or if Nick doesn't want to watch it, or if he doesn't watch it.
Yeah. I get you.
I don't
Anyway,
think there's a
yeah,
reason to, because I can't just do a one person discussion.
I get you.
Um,
So,
is who do you think? I'm not gonna say Falcon Winter Soldier. I know that's next. There is a chance that like they might go somewhere where there could show up to be one. But I want to ask, do you have any predictions about who our next mutant that's going to show up is? And do we find, or is it going to be a Monica situation where we found about, we see their history and they go through it? Or is it someone that like who do you think is going to show up? Like, do you think it's just going to be like Multiverse of Madness? They're going to just all show up? And like or like that's like really like afterwards they're gonna show up, like after Wanda might do something, or someone in another multiverse maybe has some sort of Infinity Stones to make the mutant gene more apparent. Or do you think like
um,
even like or do you think like mutants have always existed, and maybe like we're gonna start seeing them again? And like who, and if so, who do you think the first one is?
okay, so the question is, which mutant do I think is going to show up first?
Yeah, pretty
How do
much.
I think the mutants are going to show up, and who do I think it is that'll show up?
Yeah, like how, like, do
Mm.
you think like the mutants are gonna show up like all
No,
together?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Um, I, I don't know who the next one will be. I don't think it's going to be anyone famous. Like, I don't even think Photon is that big. Like,
No.
I think, you tell us, 3 weeks ago, oh, she's turned into Photon. You go, who the fuck is Photon?
I
Then
know.
you look it
Yeah.
up and you go, oh, I guess she was Photon in the comics. So I don't know. Probably some other random mutant. Who knows? But here, I'll be daring. I'll say Gambit. I'll say
Gambit.
Gambit is the next one we see. Just because Gambit's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to
And
see
then
if she is a mute. Is she a mutant? Um, she's not a mutant in the comic. She's not a mutant in the comics.
oh damn, that
But
takes that defangs her power up thing so much for me. Damn,
damn
I
right.
thought that was so cool because I was like, damn, she's turning into a mutant. Nope.
No, no, no,
Oh
not in the
well,
comics. Hold on.
that's what you just said though.
However, apparently, from what I'm reading, they might not care to alter the character. So she might actually
Uh,
just be a mutant here.
I don't know. It's still kind of. Mm.
Okay.
Anyway, uh, no, I'm a proponent of the theory that the mutants are going to get their powers like now. Like who knows? Maybe some of them have always been there. Like I'm sure if they ever wanted to do the apocalypse storyline, they can always do that. Be like, oh, mutants been around forever. We just didn't know. But I definitely think with like Westview and everything, and like 3 different snaps on Earth, it's probably like, yeah, there's probably going to be some mutants that show up around the world.
Do you have any? So you went with Gambit.
Yeah, he's cool. I mean, though, my favorite character from the X-Men is Magneto. I would love to see him.
Which is why
But
you thought that like it would have been cool to see that end credit.
well, also because like I saw a leak, and the leak was I was on YouTube, and it was just a video. It said WandaVision episode 9 Magneto, and it was like Magneto in shadow, so like you couldn't see his actor, and I'm like, oh, they're probably gonna do that to make you wonder which actor's playing him, and then turns out that leak just wasn't real. So I'm like, yeah,
Which makes sense because if it was real, they probably would have we would have seen something.
yeah.
So
But yeah, that's how I think the X-Men will show up.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. And I'm gonna say, let's just say, I forget what the place is called. But there was like a really interesting thing I heard where like there's some place in like Europe or something where in like the comics where like Wolverine plays the piano.
Okay.
I'm going out on a limb and saying the next person we see and it's not gonna be like something that like everybody's gonna like, you know, like see their first time watching it. Is that in order to look for Zemo, they go to wherever this place is. I really forget where it's called. What it's called.
I've never heard of this plotline before.
No, it's not a Falcon Winter Soldier thing. It's
No, I know it's an X-Men thing, but I'm saying I don't know what the I've never heard of it before, so sadly I can.
If I named the place, but I think like and it's gonna be like one shot. Like you know how like Stan Lee always got his moment. He got like a few seconds or like a second.
Yeah.
It's literally just gonna be a pan shot, and we're gonna see Logan. That's his name, right?
Yes.
We're gonna see Logan like just doing that, and it's gonna be like a literal frame. But we're not. But he might not even have his powers yet, and he might get like a line or two in.
Yeah,
but,
maybe.
But he's not gonna be the Wolverine right now. He's just gonna be Logan, and that will be the first person we see. I don't, but I think it's gonna be like a literal pan shot, like not like anything major, not like oh my god, it's Wolverine. It's gonna be like, is that Wolverine? Like you're in shock that that's what happened.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
I mean, but nothing big. Like what were you gonna say?
I think that it's probably gonna be like one of those things where like there's always been a bunch of mutants that have been around. Like, imagine like Wolverine and Magneto and Xavier have always been mutants, and you could say like, oh well, how come the world doesn't know about it? Well, apparently the world didn't fucking know about Captain Marvel. You know, somehow, you know, Iron Man does not mention, you know, anything ever, or you know, Nick Fury, but like, so I don't know. I think some of the mutants are there, and we just don't see them because they have decided not to write them in yet.
Yep. I don't have any other I think a thing that's interesting is Magneto's whole thing is based on the Holocaust. This is gonna but like with like the timelines and stuff, like I don't know how you write him as the Holocaust unless like maybe he's like the grandfather of Wanda and Pietro instead of the father.
That I don't know.
What were you gonna say, Jack?
I was saying, I was joking around the other day. I was like, knowing Magneto, because I don't think they ever want to get rid of the fucking brilliant plot device that, you know, or that he was a Holocaust survivor. And like the way they could do it is they could just fucking Captain America him, freeze him in ice for a couple years. You know, that way he can always still be a Holocaust survivor while still being in the modern age, because it's gonna get to a point where Magneto is in the modern age.
I figured it out. What if, remember in Civil War when Bucky, like they had the other super soldiers in the ice?
Yeah.
What if he was given like a mutant like version of that, and well, I mean, it doesn't. He didn't like fail, but they thought something in the future could help him, and like but when he was out of the ice, he destroyed them all and just went into hiding. had the 2 kids and gave them to someone else so that way they couldn't figure it out. And he gave them their mutant gene, but it explains why the parents aren't mutants.
That could make sense. I mean, like, I genuinely, I'm like, if it goes that way, like, it doesn't have to be some like we did it wrong, because like I also think it's also bad to be like, oh, Magneto was given his powers, like he's supposed to be born with them. It's supposed to, it's supposed to be Magneto has twice been on the quote unquote wrong side of humanity for the way he was born. So
But it
just
could
be like,
Yeah, but it could also be like Wanda, where she's always had her powers, but it was amplified by a mutant, like by a version of the serum.
I don't
Instead
know.
of the
No, man.
Infinity Stone.
Even the serum, I don't like that, because it's like his whole thing is supposed to be he's born that way, and the way the mutant powers develop, it's as you mature, and it's usually a traumatic event or some major part in your development. Like Rogue, she got her mutant powers the first time she kissed a boy. She nearly killed him because of it.
Damn.
Iceman was depressed and jumped in a pool to clear his head, and he froze the entire pool in seconds. Magneto watched his mom get dragged away in Auschwitz and pulled a metal gate like it was nothing. So, like, I don't know. For some mutants, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But, like, for other characters, it's like, I don't think we should mess with how they've gotten their powers.
I just don't know how else you could do, like, because you said the ice thing, like, the only other thing I could really think of is, like, you just age him a bit more and he's just a grandfather instead of...
Yeah, that could work. You could just say, like, oh, his metal makes him age less. Or some shit like that. But anyway, I'm gonna have to go.
I will end the video. So if you guys have enjoyed this discussion, please leave a comment. Tell us how if you guys are excited about Falcon Winter Soldier, and maybe we'll do a video, maybe we won't. Maybe it will be, who knows? And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
Adios.